Cheers. Welcome everybody to the annual general meeting of Broadland District Council. And if anybody wishes to record anything as far as this meeting is concerned, would they please show? No. Thank you very much. I've now asked the Vice Chairman to read the conventional fire notice, please. Over to you, Councillor Fisher.
Thank you, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're not expecting a fire drill today, so if the fire alarm sounds, we will evacuate the building. There are 2 fire exits from this room. One is through the double doors that you came into, and the other door is to the right of the stage, which leads to an external fire escape. Please note that you should not use the lift in the event of a fire, and in the event of an evacuation, we will meet on the left-hand side of the driveway at the main entrance to Thorpe Lodge. Thank you.
Yeah. Right, we're moving to item number 1 on the agenda, which is a presentation to my nominated charity. As you will know, this is for the East Anglian Air Ambulance, and clearly I found this to be a very worthy charity and deserving of support throughout the Broadland area, and it's been very reassuring to me that the interest in this has been very profound, and we've held a number of events which have been very productive as far as raising funds are concerned, and it's a great pleasure this evening to have the Chief Executive Officer with us to accept a cheque which we have prepared, and with the funds which have been received. I must at this stage pay tribute to the associated efforts of my wife in this situation, who did extremely well with carrying a bucket round at my civic reception, and raised quite an element of funding to contribute to the amount which we have raised, and also to other people who very generously given. And I have to tell you that at this point we have raised a total figure of £2,300 as far as this charity is concerned, which I'd like to thank everybody who's contributed. And it's now going to be my pleasure to present a cheque for this amount to the Chief Executive. I'll make my way down. It gives my great pleasure to present you with this cheque. I'm sure you're very welcome to your funds, and it's a great pleasure to see you here this evening. Thank you very much. And it gives me great pleasure to present this cheque. Follow the instructions. Just have 2 words, as I'm sure you would like to do so.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councillor Fulger, Chairman, and thank you to everybody else who has supported us during this year. We're extremely grateful. Just to put it in context, £2,300 is not far off what it costs a mission to undertake a mission. And so you could translate that into somebody who is in dire need of help, and this could be the difference between them living or dying. So putting it in that context, we are extremely grateful for all the efforts that have been undertaken over the year. Thank you also to Brendan, who I know has been a driving force behind this. So thank you very much indeed. We're extremely grateful. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Following that presentation, I would just like to comment on my list of engagements during my year of office, which has been extremely interesting, following on from the previous 2 years where the COVID epidemic played a factor in reducing all our involvement, and there was very little opportunity of basically doing anything positive at this time. But I have been extremely busy doing the 12 months of my chairmanship, and a number of very interesting functions transpired. I think one which you've heard me mention before is the new Medica establishment, which is now in Broadland, which is a first-class eye clinic, and has made significant progress in reducing the waiting lists for treatment for eye problems, and this has been very, very much welcomed by residents of Broadland, and I have had a number of people come up to me and say how professional they are. Their facilities are first class, and one of the main things is that the recruitment of staff has all been carried out locally, and they have a variety of people who they have recruited locally, and I think they are a great asset to our area. And there are only 8 similar establishments in the whole country, and we obviously wish them every success in our area. Another very positive achievement, which was the subject of a function held at Norwich City Football Club, one of the more successful ones of the season, and this was the awards for business in Broadland and South Norfolk, and it demonstrated how important it is to stimulate business and younger people to get involved, and with the help of our economic development department at Broadland. Many people have started their own businesses, and at this function, we saw a widespread demonstration of the success of the program, and it was very pleasing to see how many people had been involved in this, and we're quite competitive as far as the awards are concerned. And obviously, we wish everybody involved here every success in the future in these rather difficult times, although I think opportunities for getting remunerative jobs, etc., has improved, and clearly, I think it's up to them to take advantage with the help of our appropriate departments in the council, who will encourage them to do so. And other functions attended were of note, were at Great Yarmouth, and where I know quite a few of the senior officers there, and it is very pleasing to see how that council is now developing to become a very efficient unit and well supported within the town, and they have a number of projects on the cards at the present time, and one of them is the rebuilding of the railway station, which is not one of the best in the country. But together with Community Rail, of which I chair one of the lines, it is moving forward with the Department of Transport, and hopefully within the near future we shall see some improvements there. And we had 3 functions at Great Yarmouth, all of which were extremely successful, and I would like to thank everybody involved in organising those, because I think that was very, very pleasing. And also, I've noticed that in visiting other councils, we have made obviously a number of very, very good connections, and I was very pleased to attend functions at Broadland, and also with our colleagues at South Norfolk, and then together I think we do form a very impressive unit. Not to leave out, of course, North Norfolk, where we have also had functions as well, which I think do demonstrate the cooperation which is there between most of the councils in Norfolk. And I think on reflection, the year has been extremely busy, but with the support of my wife and also all council members and staff, it has been very successful. I think that's all I need to say at this point in time, and like to thank everybody concerned. Now, moving to item number 2, it is my duty to seek nominations for the position of chairman of this council for the year 2022/23. And we need a proposer at this stage for the position of chairman. May I have one, please?
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes.
I'd like to propose, in fact, it gives me great pleasure to propose Councillor John Fisher for the position of Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Norton. May I have a seconder?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm very pleased to second the proposal for the chairmanship of John Fisher, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. That's fine. Have we any other nominations? I take that as a no. Having established there are no further nominations, I declare that Councillor Fisher is duly elected chairman of this council for 2022/23. Right. If there are no other nominations, Councillor Fisher is elected, and obviously no vote is required. Yeah. Before I hand over to Councillor Fisher, I'd like to recognise the overall help I've had from a number of very distinguished people, not least my wife, and I'd like to invite her to come forward, Brenda, if you would, to receive recognition of that.
Great pleasure and distinguished all your help fundraising, also on the internet and all that kind of support. Thank you very much.
Now, obviously, I need to recognise the fabulous support I have received from staff members here, enabling me with a slight problem with my eyes to provide the service as chairman here. They have supported me throughout my year, and have guided me through any difficult situations we might have had. But clearly, I think you will recognise that they've all done very well. And so clearly, my first presentation is to Emma Hodds. I'd like to thank her very, very much for all of her support she has given me the nod when to do something, or a nudge when not to, and I'll ask her to just receive this bouquet.
Lovely. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you very much. Now we move on to another lady who has done exceptional work behind the scenes, and has been very supportive of what we've done, involving organisation of functions, and clearly keeping me on the narrow, straight and narrow, and what to do, what not to do, what's allowed and what isn't. And so I will ask Linda Mogford to come forward, please. Thank you very much indeed. Lastly, but by no means least, I have to thank somebody who has enabled our meetings to proceed as they have been done, in producing all the necessary literature, minutes, and agendas. And she has done this consistently through the year, and has produced items in large type for me to read out, etc., and to conduct the meetings. And without her help, it would not have been able to done. And clearly, it rests with me to present a bouquet to Dawn Matthews. Thank you very much indeed. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. That completes that item. I'd now like to ask Councillor Fisher to join me, and he has to sign a document first of all,
Do the chain first.
and give it the chain. Yeah, you want it first.
Yeah, no, John will come over. Put the chain
Right,
on for John.
fair enough.
Yeah.
You have all that, yes. There we are. Right, Peter. Okay, congratulations on becoming chairman.
And you're done, so you need to sit down over there.
Yeah. Is it on? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. I'll just do the formal bits. I, John Fisher, having been elected to the office of Chairman of Broadland District Council for 22-23, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to my best abilities, judgment. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Broadland District Council. And I have a pen. He's got his pen. Okay. I'll produce a short acceptance speech, just to say that I'm very pleased that you have the confidence in me to allow me to take up this position for the next 12 months. And I will say that when I first came on this council, and the only person that is here now that was here then, because Tony Adams isn't here tonight, is Councillor Beadle. And I was elected in the by-election. I thought after my first chairman's reception, I'd fancy doing that one year when I get older. Then I lost my seat, so that put a stop to that. And but then I came back again. So here we are. And as I'm now older, and I now have time to do this job, hopefully properly. So thank you again for your confidence in me, and I will actually give a vote of thanks to the outgoing chairman before I present him with his past chairman's medal. But I think when you look at the level of engagement that actually Roger has had over the last year, and I think in April there is 11 engagements, of which he did 10 and I did 1. And I think that shows the level of commitment that Roger had. He was an excellent ambassador to Broadland over the last 12 months, and his chosen charity to give or to create and generate £2,300 is a charity for the air ambulance. I think is excellent, and I thought they related that to one mission. So effectively, if any of us find we have to be rescued, Roger's paid for us to be rescued and saved our life. So on that, and of course, behind every good man, there's a good woman. And Roger mentioned the fact that Brenda has been behind him all year, waving a bucket, and she's attracted a couple of quid out of me 2 or 3 times. So she's done very well. And on that, I'd like to thank both Roger and Brenda for the year they've had, what they've done for Broadland, and in fact the excellent ambassadors. I think both of them have been. So should I go down? I'll come down to you, Roger, with your plaque and your medal. Okay, moving on the agenda, can we have nominations for vice chairman, please? Sorry, couldn't see your phone. My apologies. Yes, off you go.
Thank you, Chairman, and can I congratulate you on your elevation to chairmanship? I would like to propose Councillor Prutton, and the reason I'd like to propose Councillor Prutton because she's been such a valued member and chairman of the Wellbeing Panel, and I'm sure she will be for the full council. So thank you.
Do you have a seconder? Councillor Mancini-Boyle.
More than happy to second Councillor Prutton. Thank you.
And do we have any other nominations? Okay, can I invite Councillor Prutton to join us? And I think you've got your declaration to accept.
Thank you, everybody. I, Sue Prutton, having been elected to the office of Vice Chairman of Broadland District Council for 2022 to 23, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Broadland District Council. Thank you.
Okay, paperwork completed? Yep, marvellous. Right, okay. Do we have any declarations of interest for tonight? Okay, moving on. Apologies for absence, Dawn.
Thank you, Chairman. I've received apologies from the following councillors: Adams, Catchpole, Clancy, Cook, Gurney, Harrison, Holland, Kelly, Lawn, Peck, Potter, Riley, Shaw, Starling and J. Thomas. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Minutes of the council meeting on the 31st of March 2022. If we, on your page 8, can we approve those, or if anyone has anything to raise? Can we have a show of hands? Oh, that'll look excellent. Thanks. They're approved. Announcements. I have nothing to announce. Thank you very much indeed. But I will go over to the Managing Director, Trevor. Any announcements?
Chairman, only one that I'm sure councillors will find interesting. The new coffee machine is installed in the canteen. I'm slightly cautious of making you aware of that because I'm not sure what caffeine charged councillors are like. But just for your reference, it's there if you want to use it. Certainly the staff are enjoying it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, okay, election of leader of the council. Can I have nominations for leader of the council for 2022-23. Councillor Mole.
I propose Councillor Sean Vincent.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, I'd like to
Councillor-
second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other nominations? Okay. In which case, I declare Councillor Sean Vincent as leader of the council. And invite and I invite Councillor Vincent to announce the names and designations of his cabinet members.
Thank you, Chairman. I firstly would like to congratulate you on becoming Chairman and also Councillor Prutton on becoming Vice Chairman. Again, I'd just like to thank Council for your support and your confidence in my ability to take forward the Council in the appropriate way. It gives me pleasure to announce my cabinet. Again, this year, the intent is to run with the 7 portfolios as we did last year. There is one change to the cabinet members, and I'll just go through those in due course, or that in due course. So first of all, I'd just like to say that my deputy leader will remain as Councillor Mancini Boyle, and she will retain the finance portfolio. Going down in order of the other portfolio holders, so economic development will be Councillor Copleston, environmental excellence will be Councillor Leggett, for the housing and wellbeing portfolio will be Councillor Wymark, and for the transformation and organisational development portfolio will remain Jonathan or Councillor Emsell. The planning portfolio, I am making a change this year, so I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank Councillor Lawn for her work over the last year in taking forward for us the planning department and the portfolio, and dealing with a number of issues which have come up more recently, specifically around the neutrality and one that's yet to be resolved. And just to announce that the portfolio holder taking over or will become the portfolio holder is Councillor Moncur. So I wish him success with sorting out neutrality for us, among other things that no doubt he will take forward. So that just confirms the cabinet for the coming year. So thank you for that, Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, I now take you to the monitoring officer report, which is page 25, and I'll ask Councillor Vincent to present that report, please.
Thank you, Chairman. So you have before you the report which seeks approval of Council for its committee structure and the appointments therein. It also contains a request for a dispensation for 6 months for the 6-month rule for Councillor Harrison, who sadly I understand is not particularly well at the moment and is recovering. So we send him our best wishes on behalf of the council and hopefully a speedy return to us. The report contains the committee structure, and there's no plans to alter the committee structure this year. At section 3, it outlines the appointments to committees and details the seats in relation to each of the committees and the different groups within the council and the council's makeup. The full schedule of appointments to those committees for 22-23 is included in Appendix 1. That moves us on to 3.7, which covers the appointment of chairman and vice chairman. And again, the appointment of those is contained for specific committees set out in Appendix 2 of the report. At 3.8, there's the appointment for the directors of Broadland Growth, which is the joint venture company that we have that does the development for us. The directors are proposed to be the leader, the portfolio holder for planning, and the managing director. And the portfolio holder for finance will be the shareholder representative for us. We also have to just pick up on the standards committee, and the standards committee is where we can co-opt up to 4 parish and town council members. There are currently 3 co-opted members, which is Ruth Goodall, Mary Evans, and Kevin Willers. And I would ask council to confirm these appointments. That then moves me on, as I said, to item 4.3, which is the dispensation for Councillor Harrison. As I've mentioned, he's unwell and not able to, or not expected to be able to attend meetings for several months. So I therefore request that council grant him the dispensation for attending those meetings until the end of November. In the interim time, the monitoring officer will monitor the situation and report back to us should there be a need to make any further recommendations in relation to that. So I ask that council to agree to the appointments to the committees, including chairman and vice chairman, and to excuse Councillor Harrison from attending meetings. The recommendations are set out at the bottom of page 28 in section 7, and I put to council all 6 recommendations: 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, and 7.6. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, do we have anyone else that wish to speak? So I need a seconder. Thank you. And Councillor Wilbur.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations. And I hope you have a very pleasant year as chairman. And thank you for your best wishes to Councillor Harrison. Hopefully we'll see him back within a few weeks, not a few months. He's been a very long-serving and distinguished member of this council. For brevity, I can say the Liberal Democrat group is happy to take on block proposals 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, with no disagreement with those. We would like to take number 3 separately, which is the appointments of committee chairs, and we will be making an alternative nomination for the chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. If you want to do that bit of business first, Mr. Chairman, and come back to me, or if you'd like me to keep going, I'm happy either way.
Can I suggest we take items 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, and we can throw them on block? Can I have a show of hands? Thank you very much indeed. That's unanimous, I think. And now we'll go to
back to me.
Item 3, committees and chairman.
Thank you. We would like to, well, we've already submitted actually an alternative nomination for chairman of Overview and Scrutiny when the committee nominations were first put in to the monitoring officer. That was for Councillor Steve Riley. That was submitted by my colleague, Councillor Holland. Our nomination would be that Councillor Riley continues as the chairman of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and Councillor Mowell continues as the vice chairman. I'd outline 3 reasons for this. Firstly, the old Norfolk saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, in that Councillor Riley's been a very effective chairman of Overview and Scrutiny, as you'll see from the annual report presented to you later in this meeting. Sadly, he can't be with us tonight as he has the dreaded COVID. I'm sure we wish him a speedy recovery as well. The second point is a minor point, which is it's a little bit odd to have a chairman of Overview and Scrutiny who holds other roles, in that Councillor Mowell does hold a couple of vice chairmanships. There's nothing again in the Constitution that says he can't do that, but it's a bit odd that usually we do have a chair of Overview and Scrutiny who is focused on that one role and doesn't have their fingers in other pies in any chair or vice chair capacity. The third one is really the long-standing tradition on this council that Overview and Scrutiny is chaired by a senior opposition councillor, and it goes back many years, at least 15 years. I think there's only been 1 year, 2011, when a Conservative held the chairmanship, and that was so successful that it only lasted for 1 year, in that the then leader of the council then decided that it should be a Liberal Democrat instead. In fact, it was so unsuccessful that we had a Labour vice chair to the Liberal Democrat chair for the next 3 years. I mean, as I say, there's a long tradition. It was Councillor Debbage, the Independents, and then Liberal Democrats ever since, with that 1 year of Conservative. And you'd have to ask, why now? Why now would we be changing? I mean, last year we did have the issue of the leader ringing round the Liberal Democrat group, trying to find alternatives. It certainly went against good governance to have the leader of the council trying to handpick the chair of Overview and Scrutiny. Fortunately, that got knocked back last year. We're now in a position this year where they're making an alternative nomination to take it to the Conservatives. So why now? Why in a year when we are moving to a new building, when we have got various budget challenges, when we've got a peer challenge up ahead? Oh, and it's the year before an election. I wonder why they're changing the chair of Overview and Scrutiny. Now, I take it as something of a vote of confidence in Councillor Riley, that the fact that the Conservative group wants to return them, wants to remove him. I take it as a vote of, well, a lack of confidence in itself that it won't have an opposition chair as of Overview and Scrutiny in this vital year. What could possibly go wrong? Clearly, the council wants the Conservatives to be controlling everything in this pre-election year and doesn't want to be asked too many difficult questions at a time when many changes are going to be happening. So perhaps that's the reason you want to change this year, or perhaps it's because you don't believe in good governance. Either way, I would urge council to vote for Councillor Riley to continue as chair of Overview and Scrutiny. Thank you.
Do we have a Councillor Beadle?
Thank you, Chair. I'll be very pleased to second the proposal. As has previously been said, Councillor Riley has been very effective on the Overview and Scrutiny as chair, and one has to say this in a way as a backhanded compliment to how effective Overview and Scrutiny has been under his chairmanship. And one has to sort of ask, as the previous speaker has said, you know, why now? Why now? I think one must ask the question, is that, are there more skeletons in the closet about major expenditure coming forward for this authority, and particularly with the move? And it does have all the hallmarks that the administration is scared of proper scrutiny and being held accountable to the public. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Do we have any other speakers on this? Sorry, I forget what your name is.
Councillor Davis.
I can't see it because the light's on your
Sorry,
on your sign.
it's me, Councillor Davis.
Right, sorry, Councillor Davis.
Yeah, I think in the spirit of good governance, good local government democracy, we should have a balance. There isn't much of a balance in this council, as has already been said, in that key positions are taken by the lead party. But I think residents, electors would expect to have an opposition party, the lead opposition party, chairing overview and scrutiny. I know that elsewhere changes have been made, but it's this creep in terms of poor governance that we shouldn't slip into. We already have, at a national level, huge issues in terms of our democracy, our representation. And I think at a local level, we shouldn't be drawn into that kind of corrosive atmosphere. And that we would expect, as I said again, our residents and electors to have a system of local governance which allows opposition parties to raise issues of concern and importance. And that's the role of overview and scrutiny, and to have a chair who is not a member of the leading party, just in terms of fairness and balance. And so I would certainly support the motion for the proposal for Steve Riley to remain as chair of overview and scrutiny.
Thank you. Just for clarity, Councillor, you're proposing Councillor Riley has been seconded by as an amendment to
as an alternative nomination and an amendment to the list of committee chairs. So it is will be so the status quo: Councillor Riley to continue as chair, Councillor Mowell to continue as vice chair, assuming he's happy to do so.
I've got Councillor Harpley and then Councillor Vincent.
Thank you, Chair. Just to agree with everything that has just been said, in terms of transparency, the ruling administration should be as far away from overview and scrutiny as possible. And if you have nothing to hide, you don't need to be imposing people like this. I totally disagree with the very idea of it and also the way it's been done. Thank you. So I will be supporting Councillor Riley.
Thank you. Councillor Vincent.
Thank you, Chairman. I guess where to begin? It's just a little disappointing that we start by making it very political. In that the initial activities and lists of things that were made around the change of chairman just don't really feel appropriate. It's nowhere near talking about bad governance. The talk moving forward is around good governance and doing things in the right way. The Good Scrutiny Guide states that the scrutiny should not be used as a political tool. It should be providing a critical friend. Overview and scrutiny is a mixed group. It does receive and get all of the information that is available to any other parts of the council and primarily the cabinet. So there is nothing hidden. There is nothing put out of the way. It still has the ability to see those things. It still has the ability to look, to question, to ask. Just because the chairman's changed makes no difference. Going forwards, I hope that we now see the length of the meetings reduce, not because there isn't things to look at or things to do, but actually the focus is on scrutinising what is before the council and therefore before ONS in what they are looking at, and also look forward to the reduced impact on the officer team and the way in which they have had to work over recent time has not been best use of that resource. So I won't be supporting that change. I won't be supporting the amendment. And I look forward to Councillor Murrell becoming chairman of ONS and taking it forward for us in the appropriate way. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Councillor Emsell.
Yeah, in my first term with Broadland Council, I was on overview and scrutiny. I was a backbencher. It was all new to me. I think it's a really important committee for new members because they see all that's happening in the council and they have an overview of everything that's happening and they have a role to scrutinise everything that's happening. Now, my feeling is that you look at the facts, you look at the figures, you have a role to play there to see what's right and what's wrong for this council. Now, since I've been on the cabinet, I have papers that are then brought to overview and scrutiny, and I go to the meetings to see what members make of all the work that I have put in on different projects. Take, for instance, the last project that I was working on, which is the accommodation project. So much work had been put in by myself and the officers, and I was very pleased with the position I'd got to, and I wanted it to go to overview and scrutiny and be scrutinised, and the facts to be looked at, and the correct decision for the council to be made. But I feel that there is an element of going off into the long grass and getting confused about what is the questions that were being asked were just not questions I would have asked if I would have been on overview and scrutiny. I want to know that we're doing the right thing for the council, and I just feel that we're talking here about it being political, and I don't see that. I just see it as the way overview and scrutiny should work is to scrutinise what we've done. And if I've got it wrong, I want to be clearly told that I've got it wrong. And I just don't see that at the moment. And I feel that although Martin is a Conservative, he will be able to scrutinise like I used to scrutinise when I was on overview and scrutiny. And it's got nothing, it should be that you just look at the facts and work out what's right and what's wrong. So I feel that this shouldn't make a difference.
I've got Councillor Lawrence and Councillor Mancini-Boyle.
Thank you. I just want to say I'm a bit dismayed at the proposal, for the majority party to chair the Oversight and Scrutiny Committee. I'm dismayed because this committee plays a vital role in ensuring our democratic process and ensuring that we get the very best from decisions made by this administration.
Could you speak up a bit, please?
Sorry, that's not usually what I'm accused of.
So I have
Sorry about that.
I have indications from one of the councillors who.
I am very sorry. I'll rectify that. So I believe it requires a highly experienced chair, a role that Steve Riley has performed very strongly, and the decisions made by this administration are all the stronger for his leadership as ONS chair. But don't take my word for it. You know, the guidance does say that, and I quote, the role that overview and scrutiny can play in holding an authority's decision makers to account makes it fundamentally important to the successful functioning of local democracy. And this was quoted by Rishi Sunak, who was leading this particular guidance. And under selecting the chair, a very key point, the chair should also possess the ability to lead and build a sense of teamwork and consensus among committee members. Chair should pay special attention to the need to guard the committee's independence. Importantly, however, they should take care to avoid the committee being viewed as de facto opposition to the executive. So Steve Riley, as ONS chair, has more than proven himself to have met the criteria set by the guidance. And I would say that we need the public's confidence in our democratic processes at the moment. They have been shaken. So I call upon all of us to do the right thing and ensure the decisions made by this administration are scrutinised robustly, fairly and without prejudice, as it was intended by this guidance and has been practiced here for the last umpty years. I thought it was just 4, but obviously I am over 15, so way before me. and the public has the confidence. So the public has the confidence in those decisions taken and that they've been scrutinised, and the public can have confidence in political leadership, which is a little bit thin at the moment. So for all our sakes, I will be supporting, and I would hope that others would also support the returning of Steve Riley as ONS Chair. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mancini Boyle.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just as a little bit concerned about the comment from Councillor Davis, as one of the first things the leader did do was offer the chairmanship of ONS to the Green Party, and they declined. And I think that should have been mentioned. Secondly, the long list of criteria you've just raised, I'm more than confident that Councillor Murrell will rise to that challenge. And I look forward to some long needed added value to come out of overview and scrutiny. Thank you.
Do we hear any other speakers? If not, I'll go back to Councillor Roper.
Thank you.
Sorry, there was a hand went up. My apologies, Councillor Laming.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I do find it extremely surprising that the current constitution of this council does not stipulate that the post of chairman of ONS should be held by a member of the leading opposition party. And it does seem to me that the ruling Conservative Party have taken advantage of this by seeking to ensure they'll now have a Conservative member chairing the ONS committee. Although it's within the current rules, I think it's far from being in the spirit of democracy with true accountability. Yes, and I do obviously accept, it has been said that members of the Green Party were offered the chance of taking this role, but we are the least experienced members of this council, having been elected at a by-election at the end of October. And I do think that this role needs to be taken by an experienced councillor who is a member of the opposition.
Thank you. Councillor Roper.
Thank you, but as the old
Sorry,
saying...
Councillor Beadle's just put his hand up. You know, you have a...
The only reason I mentioned it, wanted to speak, was because Councillor Roper speaks last, and I can also return as a speaker as seconder of the motion.
You didn't reserve the right to speak when you seconded.
I think it's in the standing orders, Chair.
I mean, you did speak, Councillor Beadle.
Is this an indication of how overview and scrutiny is going to go, Chair?
Well, I'm not chairman of overview and scrutiny, sir, so I wouldn't know. Councillor Roper, please.
Thank you, Chair. Well, there's the old saying, if you're in a hole, stop digging. The responses we've had to this proposal against it have been that we're being asked the wrong questions, say Cabinet members. We're being asked questions we don't like. The meetings are too long. We're being scrutinised too much. And then we go on to, well, we just don't want a Liberal Democrat. We'll offer it to the Green Party instead. And if we can't have the Green Party, the least experienced, with all due respect, councillors on the authority, we'll have a Conservative. I think it's laying clear that this isn't about good governance. It is about the executive trying to take control of overview and scrutiny, and that can only be a bad thing.
Thank you. We'll go to the vote now. Can we have a show of hands of those in favour of Councillor Roper's amendment?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Chairman.
And those against the amendment?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, Chairman.
Okay, that's lost.
Thank you, Chair. Well, we expected that. We see it as a vote of bad governance, and we will wish you good night.
Same from me as well.
Good night.
Yeah. Adios.
Okay. Interesting first meeting.
Just need to go back to the substantive motion.
We are still quorum, so we can go back to the substantial motion, please. And can we have a show of hands on those in favour?
That's carried, Chairman.
That's carried. Thank you. Those against?
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Allowing us to show dissent.
Sorry, I can't take comment, but I will take your votes, and that's 2 against. Right. Moving on. Appointments to outside organisations. Councillor Vincent.
Thank you, Chairman. So you have before you, starting on page 40, the list of appointments to outside organisations, which I would ask council to approve.
Do we have any other speakers? If not, can we put that? Oh, we need a seconder, sorry. Judy, sorry.
You have to look this way as well, Chair.
It's looking to the left, Judy. There's a problem. Can we?
I am very pleased to second those proposals.
Thank you, Councillor Leggett. And can we have a show of hands, please? If there are no other speakers, thank you. And those against? Abstentions? Okay, that was unanimous. Okay. Scheme of delegation. This is an annual item for the AGM. There are no changes to the scheme of delegation. It is available on the website if anybody did check it. Can we have a proposer? I think Sean.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I'd just like to propose the delegation as set out in the part 3 of the Constitution. And as the Chairman has said, there are no changes to that this year.
Do we have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Brennan. And can we have a show of hands on this? That is unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Item 13, just to approve the meetings of the council, main council for the year 22-23. These have been circulated and agreed on before, but again, we have to approve this at the AGM. So the dates are, I believe, on page 2 of your agendas. Can we have a show of hands on those or any comments? I need a proposer and a seconder. Proposer? Sean?
Again, Chairman, I'm happy to move those dates and propose those as the coming dates for council through 22 and 23.
And seconder for that? Councillor Vincent?
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations on your appointment, and I'll be pleased to second those dates. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? No? Fine. Give me a show of hands, please. And that's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, questions? There are no questions from members of the public. Public speaking, there are no requests for public speaking. Can we have approval of over and scrutiny? I call on Councillor Riley's not here, and I think for the items 131 of the meeting on 29th of March 22, do we have a proposer? Councillor Morrell, sorry.
Sorry, yes. I wasn't present for the 29th of March, and therefore I think Ken Leggett will put forward the minutes of the meetings held on there. got the meeting the minute of the 12th of April and the 3rd of May 22. And then on minute number 131, the overview and scrutiny annual report, I'd like the council to receive the annual report, the overview and scrutiny for 2021-22.
Okay, can we approve those and accept the report of the ONS? Show of hands. Oh, sorry, seconded. Councillor Brennan, can we have a show of hands, please? Thank you. And just to note the report of the minutes of the 29th of March. Councillor Leggett, I believe you were there.
Thank you, Chairman. I would ask the council to receive the minutes of the overview and scrutiny meeting held on the 29th of March.
Thank you. Do you have a second for those? Councillor Murrell, thank you. And a show of hands. Thank you. So, and those against? No. Abstain? No. Sorry, that's okay. It was pointed out to me that you were not voting, so I just had to. Okay, thanks. Okay, minutes of cabinet. I call on for the cabinet meeting in 26th of April. I call on Councillor Vincent to propose those.
Thank you, Chairman. I would ask Council to receive the minutes of the meetings held on the 26th of April and the 12th of May. There are some items from the meeting on the 26th of April that need to be considered by Council. First one of those is 17.1, and I would ask Councillor Mancini-Boyle to present that to Council.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The minute number 272, the addendum to the 22-24 delivery plan and the use of the earmarked reserves created as a result of the in-year budget options on page 80. I'd like to put forward 17.1, 1, 2 and 3, please.
Do you have a second for that?
Yes, Chair. Happy to
Sorry.
second that, Chair.
To my left again.
And congratulations, Chair.
I must remember to look over there. I'll get used to it by the end of the year. Okay, and do we have any other comments? If not, can we have a show of hands? Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Chair. That moves us on to item 17.2. And again, I would ask Councillor Mancini-Boyle to present this item for us.
Yes, thank you again. So minute number 273, the proposed capital investment in renewable energy infrastructure. So I'd like to recommend 17.2. Thank you.
Do you have a second for that? Councillor Leggett, I caught you.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations on your appointment. I'll be pleased to second this proposal.
Thank you. Do we have any comments on this? If not, can we have a show of hands, please? Thank you. And that's unanimous again. Okay. Audit Committee. We can move on to that. I think Councillor Nurden has had to leave early, so if we can have a proposer for those minutes, Councillor Vincent, Karen Vincent.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to present to Council the minutes of the meeting of the Audit Committee held on the 17th of March.
And do we have a second for those? Councillor Bullman, thank you.
Actually, I wasn't there, so I can't.
Sorry, who was?
I wasn't there, so I can't.
Oh, sorry. Even further to my left, Councillor Patterson. Sorry, who was at that particular audit committee? Who was here tonight?
Chairman, I think it was Councillor Nurden and Councillor Holland and myself only.
Oh, right. We'll carry those over to the next meeting then. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we
They are only for receiving.
They were only for receivings. If council are happy, can I use my chairman's power to accept them? Thank you. Okay, that will say bring them into the next meeting. And the annual report of the audit committee, I believe Councillor Bullman was there for that.
I was indeed, yes. I wasn't suffering from the plague on that occasion. I'm pleased to recommend to the council the annual report of the audit committee. You'll be pleased to know that we have acted in good governance. We have actually done exceedingly well. The one issue I would report to you is that Ernst & Young, our auditors, have been suboptimal in their support, but we are looking to address that. But I recommend that council accepts this report wholeheartedly.
Do you have a second for that, Councillor Vincent? Can we have a show of hands? Thank you very much indeed. Okay, planning committee. Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations on your appointment. Pleased to present the decisions of the planning committee held on the 20th of April. The first item, racecourse plantation, was withdrawn. The other two items are resolved.
Okay, thank you. Can we agree those? Thank you. I've got nods of heads. It's easier than a show of hands. Right, outside organisations, member champions reports, they are in your papers on page 105. Can we accept those as being okay? And I would like to thank those member champions that have put in reports. It is important to show what we do as member champions and the activities that we do outside of this chamber. Questions from members? I draw your attention to agenda item page 4 and invite Councillor Laming to put the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. The council's engaged with a positive group buying scheme called Solar Together to provide solar panels and battery storage solutions for residents and small businesses. Would the council consider setting up a similar scheme for a retrofitting service in conjunction with local providers to enable homeowners and businesses in Broadland, including the able to pay sector, to access advice and retrofitting services for their homes?
Thank you. Can I ask Councillor Leggett to respond?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councillor, for your question. The Solar Together scheme is an area-based programme which extends beyond the borders of the county. Therefore, demand can be considerable and is attractive to suppliers. In addition, solar is in a high demand at present. It is considered that there would not be sufficient demand in the able-to-pay sector to facilitate a viable, competitive programme for any of the other energy efficiency measures involved in the retrofit procedures for a single authority. We will, however, raise this for consideration at the Norfolk Climate Change Partnership Group. Our experience has shown that to deliver successful capital refit programmes, high volumes of a single product are required to be attractive to contractors. And as a result, engagement with this sector has been challenging. The council recently sought to partner with a local supplier for double glazing. However, even with the available capital we have, no interest was received from the market. We believe that the demand for contractors is sufficient through their normal processes, and they are content to direct their business to the most profitable, low-risk work streams. Therefore, at present, we do not see such a scheme providing better value than the current process of agreed prices or separate quotes on each project. We are exploring options around support for able-to-pay groups at the moment, and we hope to be able to announce something soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Amy, do you have a A follow-up question, supplementary?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, the need to retrofit homes is really urgent now, that particularly the energy prices are rising and seriously affecting the cost of living. I know that the total dwelling stock in Broadland is about 59,500 houses. And in 2019, 33% of properties came to EPC rating of C or above, which actually means that 67% of dwellings in Broadland came below an EPC rating of C. I just would like to know actually if the council is looking at how many dwellings fall into each different EPC rating band, and then what would need to be done in terms of infrastructure and retrofitting to achieve a transition to net zero across this whole housing stock. Do you know if the council's actually looking at this?
Councillor Leggett.
I think one point I'd like to make is
Could you put your mic on?
Trust you can hear me now. You refer to EPCs and you quote some percentages. However, I'm quite aware that I don't know, perhaps you do, how many houses within Broadland do not have a current energy certificate. So I can't confirm or deny your figures. I think encouraging our residents to go to net zero, or at least to reduce their carbon emissions, is something that we are striving to achieve through our refresh of our environmental strategy.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay, we have no motions, so it's time to exclude the press and the public. We've got loads of those here tonight, but I need to read this out. I move that the press and public be excluded from the meeting for the remaining items of business, because otherwise information which is exempt information by virtue of paragraph 3 of part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972, as amended by the Local Government Access to Information Variation Order 2006, will be disclosed to them. Can we agree that? Thank you. Okay.